Hello and welcome back together to my weekly update on the financial market. I will cover today with you the S&P 500 index, US oil, gold and Bitcoin against the US dollar. You will see all my open trades and I explain you why I have taken them as they are. I will watch with you the charts at the weekly time frame, daily time frame and 4-hour time frame so that you know what to do in the markets the weeks ahead, or at least what I want to do. So let's start directly in with the S&P 500 index. Yeah, the S&P 500 here on the weekly time frame, you can see that we are in a solid uptrend on the weekly. We have seen a massive pullback after break of the weekly uptrend line here in orange solid, but we find good support here and recovered pretty far right now. MACD cross to the upper side, which is a bullish sign, not far away from the last all-time high levels. Let's drop down to the daily time frame. There you can see a daily solid downtrend line. That one got broken to the upside. We have seen so far just one smaller pullback that directly got again broken to the upper side. Because of that, I went into a long position, like you can see here, with 2% of my account balance at risk. And the stop loss is placed right below this daily support zone, and to protect my stop loss level there, and slightly below this smaller swing low here. And my targets for that, we have to zoom a little bit out, is the 0.272 Fibonacci extension level here. Slightly below that, you got these levels from the low to the high of a major movement. Place your Fibonacci retracement level there, and then you will find these levels extended to the upper side, and these are often good positions to place a take profit there. Would give me at the moment a risk reward ratio of 1.62, and for me everything above 1.5 is good to take. If we drop one time frame lower to the 4-hour time frame, you can see it just in more detail. MACD here seems also to cross to the upper side. Maybe we will see pullback to this level and then continue, because right away continuation to the upper side without a huge pullback. I don't know how far this movement then will go before we are too stretched to the upper side. I think this scenario here would be the healthier one, but yeah, maybe I'm in because we have taken out this small correction, because it's possible that we'll continue higher without seeing a huger pullback, but we shouldn't really dip huge below this daily support zone here. I also placed here another Fibonacci retracement level from the low to the high of the movement, and you can see the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level, which is normally in an uptrend level where price holds, is above my stop loss level, so we should be fine here. If we see a huge pullback, maybe this uptrend ain't that clear like we thought. That's all I have for the S&P 500. Let's go next to US oil. Oil starting here also at the weekly time frame, you can see a massive solid red monthly downtrend line. We have seen a break above that in the year 2021. Since then we are in a weekly correction phase, and we also have built out a weekly support zone. That one got now broken to the downside and at the moment is getting retested. For me, I think as long as we stay below this weekly downtrend line, there are no long trades for me in the oil sector. I would consider to trade short if the right setup develops here, because a break, a retest, and then a break of the retest to the downside normally continues to the lower side, and then we get an A, B, C pattern with that on the bigger time frame. What would speak for a nice correction and then a break finally to see higher prices in oil following the outbreak of the monthly time frame. But these kind of movements take time, so we will speak in the future more often about that. On the daily time frame, you can see the break below this weekly support zone now turned resistance. I was also able to throw in a daily white solid downtrend line. At the moment we are retesting that level, 2 touches so far. This could develop as the third one, and the probability ain't that low that we will get rejected here again to the lower side and continue the overall downtrend. These prices could get hard for producers, so downside maybe is a little bit limited, so I wouldn't bet too far, but a retest of these lows or exceeding then to the lower side ain't that unrealistically in my view. Let's drop even one time frame lower to the 4-hour time frame. You can see we have this major crash here after tariffs got released by US President Trump. Then we had seen a pullback, a double bottom, not a higher high, but a higher low, and now we have seen finally a higher high. Now it's the question, will it continue? So break the daily downtrend line, make a retest, break the retest to the upside and rush all the way back up to this, a little bit steep here, all the way back up to this weekly downtrend line. That's definitely possible, but we'll see. Maybe if you want to take a short trade, this here would be maybe an opportunity. You have to look at the risk reward ratio. In this case, like I've thrown in, the risk reward ratio is shit, so you wouldn't take that trade, or at least I wouldn't take that trade, because the probability that we will turn here again lower is pretty high. Yeah, that's the thing. So at the moment, no trades for me in oil. What should happen on the downside that I should pull trade it? I would like to see here a break of this secondary 4-hour uptrend here and white then blue dotted, maybe holding here at this 4-hour support zone, making a retest and then breaking finally this support zone in combination with the retest of the broken uptrend line to the downside. That would be the perfect scenario for a short trade. That could look like the following. Yeah, and then even if you only aim for the last lows here, that would be good risk reward, good risk reward ratio. A nice trade in my opinion, but we will see if that happens. Trading is reactive, not predictive. That's all I have for US oil. Let's switch to gold. So gold looks beautiful on the weekly time frame here. We skyrocketed to the upside after finally breaking often tested weekly resistance zone here. And after the break of a resistance zone, this zone acts in the future as support, but price never retested that one, so it went straight up with developing higher highs and higher lows in the price structure. So an intact uptrend so far, supported by the 10-week moving average here. The MACD indicator hasn't so far a divergence. Also, the MACD indicator is making higher highs, so as price. But at the moment, it looks like we would like to cross to the downside here on the weekly, and that would be a bearish sign. Let's switch to the daily time frame for more details. On the daily, you can see there's a white solid daily uptrend still intact and broken. Then I was able to draw a secondary uptrend line into the sand here, and we retested also that one and bounced to the higher side and broke. It was drawn in at a 4-hour. Now I was making it visible also on the daily time frame. We have seen a break. MACD seems to cross to the upside, maybe could also turn lower. At the moment it's a little bit unclear to me. If we drop down to the 4-hour time frame, you can see it here in more detail. We had the all-time high, a low, a lower high, a lower low, so an intact downtrend, a lower high, and then a higher low, and then a higher high. So a change from downtrend to an uptrend. So because of that, I went into a long position after exceeding this one to the upside. Before, you remember from the last update, I was into a short position after this head and shoulders, shoulder. After that one was broken to the downside, I went into a short position and my stop loss was above the last swing high here, and I was expecting a continuation of this downtrend. That ain't happening, and instead we have seen a higher high. So I had this little experiment going where I had two setups, one short setup and one long setup. My short setup got triggered. Then I went into the stop loss. And the moment I went into the stop loss, I opened up a long position to count in the opposite direction. And never have done that before. I will test that one here. At the moment, the position is in minus. I was risking 0.5% of my account balance. We also see on the 4-hour MACD divergence. MACD is making a lower highs while price is making higher highs, and that's normally a sign that we will see lower prices. I placed my stop loss below the last swing low and below this 4-hour support zone, so the stop loss should be well protected if we are now in an uptrend, continuation of overall uptrend. But if we are not, we will see the break, and then I would again look out for maybe a short setup to this solid white uptrend line, maybe with something like this here, and then we have to see if we get a good risk reward ratio. Like I said, I personally want at least a 1.5 risk reward ratio. Below that, I will not take the trade because it's not worth the risk. But yeah, at the moment, both things can happen. If we see again a break of this high here to the upper side, I would really like, then uptrend in my view is definitely confirmed. Then I would like maybe to even increase my position at that level, maybe from 0.5 to 1 or 1.5% risk on my account balance. That's all for gold. Let's switch to Bitcoin against the US dollar. So Bitcoin, finally on a weekly, we can see also here higher highs followed by higher lows and an intact uptrend so far. A couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we have seen a new all-time high. Since then we are in a little bit of a pullback. The one thing that it's a bit concerning is here the MACD divergence to price that could develop, hasn't to, because we only have a divergence if we see a cross in the MACD here, and we haven't seen one so far, so it can well continue higher. On the daily time frame, you can see we have a daily downtrend line. That one got broken to the upside. We had a little bit of consolidation here on the 4-hour time frame. After we have seen a break to the upside there, I went into a long position with at the moment 1% of my account balance at risk, or at the moment 0% of my account balance at risk, because I already moved my stop loss to my entry level. My stop loss level was below the swing low of the movement, and yeah, after seeing new all-time highs, I moved it to the entry level, so the trade is now risk free. At the moment we pulled back from last all-time high level. MACD crossed also, it's fitting, and now MACD seems to cross again to the upper side on a daily time frame. If we drop one time frame lower to the 4-hour time frame, you can see we had this 4-hour uptrend break with MACD divergence supporting that low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And now is the question, after seeing here also a 4-hour MACD divergence, will price be able to make here a higher high again and a higher low and break then that one again to the upper side? That would be again a good situation to get into a long position Bitcoin if they are no position yet, or to increase the existing position. That's the thing I want to do if we see a break above that. Yeah, but so far we haven't confirmation for that the small pullback here is over, but that will probably happen next week. If it happens, for sure this can turn here at this 4-hour downtrend line and continue lower, maybe all the way back down to this 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level, or all the way back down in the worst case, in my opinion, as long as the uptrend should stay intact, to this daily support zone here. At least their price should turn again to the upside and continue the overall uptrend. If not, my stop loss probably gets triggered, and this is likely then the all-time high for this 4-year cycle. I don't believe that yet, so I stay bullish so far. And like always, it's your decision to do what do you think you should do in the markets, and I only telling you what I do and how I do it. That's all I have for this weekly update. I hope you enjoyed it and got a benefit out of it. Till next time, bye bye.